Welcome, beautiful souls. Today I'm going to do something very, very different. And this is just where my level of consciousness is at. It's where my expansion is at. It's where my experience is at. It's where my knowing is at, where my intuition is. So it is going to be a little different. So just bear with me. I have got a laptop in front of me as well because I'm going to be kind of reading but then interpreting at the same time. So this is going to be, I feel like I'm going to be doing a sermon, but I promise that's not what I'm doing here. So welcome, I'm Kathleen from Awakening Meraki. Now I did touch on this in my community group yesterday. I have these random things just happen on this journey where I will be doing something really daily. Like in this instance, I was actually cleaning my teeth and I'm like, you know what? I wonder what the parting of the Red Sea has to do with all of this, this consciousness and twin flames. So I decided I'm going to chat GPT it, and that's what I'm reading off. However, I'm also going to interpret from my own personal experience, from my own downloads, the fact that I've even done this is quite interesting in itself, because even in my community group that I have, a couple, I think there was 3 different people in there, and some of them it's their masculines that are sending the feminine a reel about Moses. It was just really funny. Anyway, there's a lot going on. There's so much more going on this journey than what you ever fully resonate with until you're really out of those lower frequencies of the 3D and you start to come into these higher frequencies. The more you come into these higher frequencies, what you'll find is, one, you won't identify anymore with those old 3D programmings, templates, whatever, whether that be in a relationship or how you just function in everyday life, and including a job. So everything's going to change. The way you even parent will change when you start shifting out of these 3D programs, because you'll realize I didn't appreciate being programmed, so I want to try and release as much of that for my own children as I can, especially for those that are raising a young family. So anyway, let's crack into this. So please just bear with me. I'm doing a blend of, something that I've got out of ChatGPT, but also just my whole awareness around this is huge. And I get a lot. I know who I am, right? I know what I'm here for. I'm a very clear channeler. I get a lot of downloads, a lot of visions. I have downloads from different consciousness, like Mary Magdalene. Like I get it all. And this is coming from somebody that was very logical in the ego structure and definitely was not prepared to surrender for anybody. So let's get into this. Okay, so in the biblical story, the Red Sea parts only after Moses trusts and follows divine guidance. This mirrors the moment of surrender on the twin flame path, when the ego collapses and the soul takes the lead. So it's an absolute consciousness shift, and that will keep expanding, right? So it's a symbol of a shift from the 3D, right? The 3D fear, the limitation, and all those ego-based programs. It's and it's a shift into that, so that path, that divine guidance, is the shift into the 5D consciousness, which is basically a high vibrational state of yourself. And that is around unity, it's soul truth, divine timing. But here's the thing, you are all of that, right? You are a spark of source energy, so you are source energy. This is what I want people to really resonate with. You are more than these programs. You are more than wanting just a 3D relationship with your twin. This journey is a lot bigger than what you will ever resonate with until you're in these higher conscious states. And you will get there so long as you make this journey about your ascension. Okay, so leaving Egypt, so equals basically exiting the matrix, the old paradigm. So Egypt in this story symbolizes bondage, old karmic cycles, limiting beliefs, survival patterns. So all those walls that we put up, the bricks that we put up. It's the ending of all of those old relationships, old jobs, old friendships. The journey to the promised land reflects the twin flame path of soul liberation, and you absolutely feel liberated when you have cleared all those karmic patterns and cycles and all those limiting beliefs. You definitely you feel free, you feel lighter than you ever have. You're not free when you're wondering when the masculine's returning. You're not free when you are stalking them. You are not free when you're allowing your ego structure to get annoyed at them. None of that is freedom. That is your ego. That's the old paradigms that you are shifting out of. Your soul wants you to come out of. Okay? So twin flames must exit separation consciousness, which means believing that this is it. This is it in life. And that there's nothing more higher than this, right? You're actually a spark of source. So yeah, exiting separation consciousness is things like getting out of that victimhood, getting out of this perception of, or this perceived control, and looking for all that external validation in the physical world. So the parting, so this is the parting of the Red Sea, symbolizes the narrow passage of awakening, a rite of passage that requires faith, inner strength, and divine trust. And you feel this, like, it's incredible. You feel like when you've really worked through those layers, all those karmic patterns and cycles and whatever else, right? You feel, I mean, I get it. You feel like the parting of the Red Sea, and suddenly you can just walk through, and nothing's gonna hurt you because you've collapsed it all, and everything starts to open up for you. Abundance opens up, your purpose opens up, new friendships come in, the twin comes in, everything comes in, it all starts to make sense. Okay, so the C, which is classed equals the emotional body and the subconscious. So water represents emotions and the subconscious. The parting of the sea is a parting of the emotional overwhelm, clearing the way for clarity, purpose, and forward moving, which is what I was touching on before. So we know that on this journey there's a lot of purging, there's a lot of chaos, and that's what the water was representing, right? Is that tumultuous, stormy waters. But when you've cleared that path, you won't be sitting in that anymore. So the parted sea is symbolic of emotional mastery and balance. You're no longer drowning in emotion, but walking a sacred path through it, and you feel it, and you'll come in and out of it, but you'll anchor it in even stronger and stronger, and you'll get it. You'll get why I'm talking about this. You'll get why the parting of the Red Sea kind of is a great representation of this journey. Okay, so masculine leadership and divine alignment. So Moses as a guide represents the awakened divine masculine energy. Energy we're talking, okay? Anchored in higher truth and service, leading others through darkness into light. So your own inner masculine needs to do that for yourself, not the external masculine, okay? So your own inner masculine helps you by tuning into that inner masculine. Is going to help you lead through darkness into light. And this is why the physical masculine reflects all that darkness, all that shadow within you, so you can step into your light, so you can transmit it. They're not here to annoy you. I know it feels like it, but I promise they're not. So in the twin flame dynamic, when the divine masculine awakens, he parts the illusion of ego and steps into purpose, leadership, and sacred union. For the divine feminine, this can represent her own inner masculine aligning to protect and support her path forward. And it's just really important that you resonate, that you are working with energy here, right? So your own inner masculine needs to support you. Your own inner masculine must show up for you. Your own inner masculine must provide for you. You're not waiting for the external to do that. You are tapping into your own inner beingness and working with your own inner masculine and feminine energy. This is why when you're energies are really balanced, you feel so anchored in, supported, and safe. You just feel incredibly safe because you've worked with your own inner masculine. All right, so what's next on here? So number 5. So union as the promised land. So the journey doesn't end at the parting of the sea. It leads towards the promised land in a union, mission, and soul-aligned life. Union isn't just a romantic end goal. I didn't say it, ChatGPT said it. It's a state of consciousness where fear no longer rules, and it seriously does not. This is balance. This is beautiful, balanced. You are not driven by fear. You are not driven by whether they're in your life or not in your life anymore, because you're also anchored in who you are because of your state of consciousness. So the path has been cleared through the waters of transformation. What once seemed impossible is now inevitable when aligned with the divine plan. So the parting of the Red Sea equals the collapsing of separation consciousness. So it represents the breakthrough moment when the soul overrides fear. Trusting the unseen path, divine timing aligning everything perfectly, which is basically the parting of the waters, and walking the sacred path of soul, mission, and union. How cool is that? There's more I could say on this topic, but I just was cleaning my teeth and I went, I don't know why I want to go ChatGPT this, but I'm going to. And the thing is that spirit is working through everything. Spirit is working through ChatGPT, through AI, through everything. It's working through me, it's working through whoever's listening to this. You must come into a place on this journey that what's going on for you is so much more than a romantic partnership, okay? That is not the purpose of the journey. That is something that will come further down the track. So long as you step onto your ascension path, you come into resonance that you are a freaking soul, that this body is just a temporary thing that you are wearing, and you are a soul. You are one beautiful, you're just energy. You are energy, and it can never be destroyed, but it can be transmuted. And you're here to come up into these higher levels of consciousness. But to do that, you must release this. You must get out of the story. I don't know how many times, and look, I get it. I totally get it. This is not a judgment. But I want people to really sink in how many times I put something up and I say, it's not about what they're doing in the physical, and then the comments come, he came back in again and he's pissed me off and blah, 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 and he's just not in the right energy. And I'm just like, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. That is you in another body. So if you're reacting to it, he's just reflecting to you your reactions that are happening internally in the consciousness that you share. Okay, you've got to get to a place where you start to go, lay your swords down and go, fuck it, basically. I am not on this relationship journey. I am on an ascension path and I best go all in. And the sooner you can do that, the better you're going to feel. Because let me tell you, when you are always trying to look outside of yourself, you don't feel good. It doesn't make you feel good. It's an illusion to think that a person or a new outfit or some money or a job or a house or whatever is going to make you feel good. That is the illusion of these lower vibratory states. Your soul is now ready to ascend out of that illusion, and it's ready to come into the truth, right? While it's on this planet. And it's to bring these higher states onto the planet. Do not underestimate the journey you are on and the difference that you are going to make, not only to your own life, but to those around you, your soul tribe. You are here to bring people up with you. And, it's a very transformative, powerful journey. And the divine feminine, irrespective of how you identify, leads this at an energetic level. This is a very deep and sacred journey. It's not about your ego and their ego. And it's about coming into unconditional love. And it's a frequency you're shifting into. You don't go find unconditional love. You become it. Well, you are it. You release what's not, and you unravel it, and then you just anchor that in. And it's about leaning into the triggers. And it's not the masculine that's actually triggering you, it's your soul triggering you. It's you triggering you, so you can release and see all of this stuff. We are all interconnected, and this is what oneness is. It's about resonating that we are all interconnected in some form or another. And it's about realizing that people will bring things and say things to you on this journey that you just know is a soul message for you, because you're all interconnected. All of us are. That's oneness. Separation consciousness is believing that we are all here doing our own individual thing. We're not at all. We're all here having soul experience. And you know, this time, if you've been awakened and going through a spiritual awakening, if you're not going through an awakening, you are not on a twin flame path. Not at the moment anyway. It's not to say it will never happen. However, if you're not going through a full-blown spiritual awakening, you are definitely not on, you definitely haven't met your twin flame. So this journey is about helping you elevate, to pull you out of all this old programming and conditioning. It really truly is. And it's about, yeah, when, you know, it's like that story of it's like the story of Moses in the Red Sea. When you trust and you surrender, and I know, trust me, I've struggled to surrender, but when you surrender, that is when the path lights up for you. That is the parting of the Red Sea. You're just fully surrendered. You are trusting in the guidance. You're trusting in soul. You know you are the soul. You know you are part of your source energy, and you literally, everything opens up for you. You start to attract and manifest in ways that I can't put into words. Everything this is the paradox of this journey. At the beginning of this journey, anything that you are attached to in this physical world will just bulldoze out, right? Really quickly for some of us. When you don't need those things anymore, because you realize that those things are the illusion of safety and this perceived control, suddenly it all rolls back in because you don't need it anymore. You've learnt that the true safety and security is coming into soul, resonating that you are a spark of source energy, and there is nothing that's going to be outside of you that's going to rattle you. Like honestly, you're so anchored in and so solid in who you are. You've released all of those karmic patterns and cycles and whatever it was, and you've really done the energy work. And that's what it is. It's all about the energetics. It's all about you resonating that you're a soul, and your twin in this physical world shares the same soul as you, the same soul essence. I was talking to a beautiful client yesterday, and we talked about perfume, and I said to her, you need to look at it like this. You are the same fragrance in two separate bottles, but you are the same fragrance. You're made up of the same stuff. Okay, that's what you and your twin are. You are the same fragrance in two separate bottles, but that's it. And when you can resonate with that, then you will start to collapse the separation, because it's the same fragrance, it's just that it's in two different bottles, right? That's how you need to look at this. So imagine the fragrance as energy. You're the same energy, but you're just in two different bodies. This is a journey of coming home. This is a journey for your soul to ascend out of limiting beliefs, all the illusions, all the control, all the programming, and come back into this beautiful oneness feeling. And it's truly is incredible. Anyway, really thought I would just do something a little different today. There's so much more I could say about this there's a lot that I could say. There's been a lot coming online for me, and I might speak more to this kind of topic. But when you really, when you deep dive into the Bible, it's all talking about consciousness. And twin flames are through the whole Bible. And, I wasn't raised in a family that went to church, but I was around a lot of church. through various reasons. But you know, it's through it all, and it's through many other ancient scriptures, right? It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. So really start to tune in. And I know even, you know, even me talking about consciousness, depending on where you're at, just understanding and resonating what consciousness is a struggle. When you've got that high addictive energy and you're going through ego death, you're just like, I don't care about consciousness. I just want to know when they're coming back. I get it. I totally get it. But you're at a level of consciousness where you can only see, what can you see? You can only see the letters A and B. As you shift frequency, you'll start to see more of the alphabet, because your consciousness expanding. Oh, now I can put more words together. I can, you know, it's probably not the best explanation. Don't ask me why I'm talking about alphabets, but it's just that you can only, your level of consciousness can only see and resonate with, you know, a part of the alphabet. But as that frequency shifts, you realize, oh, there's a lot more to the alphabet, right? And that's what I kind of mean. You're not going to resonate with these words and all of this stuff when you're in that ego death, and when you're stuck in the story and you're stuck in what they've done to you. You've got to get yourself out of that. Pull yourself out, and only you can do it. And that means learning what the mind is doing, getting out of the mind and realizing the mind is full of stories that are simply not true. And it's the stories, which is the illusion, which we believe is real, right? The mind believes is real, is really truly happening to me. But it's not. It's a story. It's a story that you're telling yourself, and it's not even real. Anyway, that is a bit of a wacko video for me today, but you know what? I am just here speaking my soul's wisdom and where it guides me, and just trying to really help people. You've got to work with the energy. You've got to learn about energy. That's all. That's the language you speak here, and that's the language you need to learn. And as you shift further along this journey, you will realize that it's all starting to unravel and starting to make sense. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. So as always, sending so much love.